Welcome to another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I'm your host, WIZE. I'm excited. My next guest, I didn't know what a maturepreneur was until I read her bio, but I'm excited to have her bring on. Welcome to the show, Jannette Anderson.
All right. Hi there.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm very good. And you're not alone. A lot of people don't know what a maturepreneur is, which is why I'm here.
All right. So first of all, what led you here to because actually, so Maturepreneurs is a play on mature and entrepreneur together, right?
Yes.
So what inspired you to focus on helping maturepreneurs and what unique challenges they face?
Okay. Well, I have been supporting entrepreneurs for about 40 years, more than 40 years now. I love doing what I do. I still stupidly in love with my work. Mostly I've supported entrepreneurs in business startup and turnaround, and especially people who sell what they know, so service professionals. And the last decade, I've been focused mostly on women. I got this big download from the universe about shifting the world from fear to love, one happy and empowered woman at a time. So I created a business around that and have been helping women entrepreneurs because I think that was part of shifting how we do business. That's why there's been so much focus on women. But a couple of years ago, I was on the Marketers Cruise, 2020 actually, which is a big cruise for marketers from around the world. There was about 400 of us. And we were up at something called Pizza and Profits. It's a networking thing that starts at 11 at night. You have to have a lot of stamina to go on this work cruise. People think it's a vacation. It's so not. Anyways, and I was standing with a group of 4 other guys, and someone asked me, "What do you do?" And I was mid-sentence answering him, and he turned and started talking to someone else. So I thought, well, what a dick. So I excused myself politely, went to a different group. Same thing happened. I was like, well, it can't be them. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not showing up. Maybe I'm not, got my energy in line. But no, I'm pretty visible. I mean, I have blue hair and glasses, and I'm not a wallflower by any stretch of the imagination. So I started to get curious and observed, and every woman over 60, and some of the men, but mostly the women, were completely ignored and invisible. And I mean, actually invisible. People were not seeing them. And I started to get really kind of annoyed, pissed off, frankly, and curious about that, and did a lot of research, found out that ageism is not just notional, it's alive and well and lives in our society, and that there's these amazing trends going on that no one is paying attention to that are literally reshaping business and how it exists in the world, and no one's paying attention. And so I decided it was time to do something about all of that.
Awesome. So how has your journey in corporate world and academia influenced your approach to coaching maturepreneurs?
Well, it's interesting because I think I came out of the womb entrepreneurial. I seriously have. I'm pretty sure I was born with a briefcase in hand, which my mother didn't like. My first business was a garage sale that I held because I wanted to buy a book that my mom said we couldn't afford. And, kids, we don't overcomplicate things. No money, get money, right? So I had a business. I decided I was going to have my very first business. And I had a garage sale, and I made $13.72. I don't remember a lot of things wise, but I remember that amount. And I was so proud. And I ran up to Mom when she got home from work and showed her. And I didn't quite get the reaction I thought I would. She spanked me, took my money, didn't let me buy the book Heidi that I really wanted, made me go back and buy back everything because she didn't know that I was selling knickknacks, small household appliances, things like that. I didn't really have permission. And so I lost most of my toys. The kids wouldn't sell them back to me. It was not what most people would call a very successful first venture, but I learned some really important things. One is that you should never go into business with family. I'm kind of kidding, but not really. Secondly, I really did discover that you can take your destiny into your own hands through creating a business. Like, had I not had that intervention, I would have been able to get the thing that I really wanted, which was that book, as a result of my efforts. And in fact, I did eventually get it. She did eventually buy it for me. But the third thing that I learned is when she yelled at me, "No, we can't afford it," I remember vividly the experience that I had of never wanting to see that look of shame and despair and sadness and frustration on another person's face because they were living a no life. So even though I was only 5, I decided I wanted to help people live a yes life. And so since then, I've literally been entrepreneurial since then. My next business was when I was 7, and I had my first franchise at a lemonade stand, and there was 3 other corners that weren't covered. So I went and got my mom to help me, and I took out our 3 other TV trays. They used to come in sets of 4, and I made 3 other signs and got 3 other jugs of lemonade and recruited 3 of my friends and stuck them on the other corners, and they got 50% of the take, and I got 50%. So that was my very first franchise. And then when I was 11, I had my first business with an employee. He was the 9-year-old I used to babysit, and I lived in a housing tenement. I grew up kind of poor, and we had a daycare, and we had up to 30 kids a day that we were entertaining and taking care of. I fed those poor kids peanut butter and jelly every single day for the entire summer, but I made a lot of money. It was my very first business. It was awesome. So I've been entrepreneurial my whole life, and I love supporting people in creating their yes life especially through launching a business or creating a side hustle or whatever it is that they want to do. Now my focus is just shifted to this demographic of maturepreneurs because there's so stinking many of us. Literally just under 1 billion people around the world are 55 plus and hashtag not done by a long shot. And B, no one's serving them. There is an incredibly huge market that is waiting for support, and no one's paying attention to it. It boggles my mind because the economic possibilities of this market are staggering. Trillions and trillions of dollars are in the hands of baby boomers and Gen Xers. They're transferring to Gen X and millennials. Literally 79.5% of the wealth in the world right now is in that demographic's hands. And no one's marketing to them except for Depends and Viagra and life insurance and seniors' homes. No one's marketing to those of us who are refiring, not retiring. And it's about 75 to 80% of the older population. People think it's just a few people, but it's actually the majority. So that's why I'm still really excited about it. And my journey has been a journey of being an entrepreneur. Every once in a while, I forget, I lose my mind. I think, ooh, benefits and stability, oh my. And I get sucked back into corporate. And I'm there for about maximum 2.5 years. And then I go, oh, I remember why I hate this. Politics, bureaucracy, and bullshit. Oh my. And I go back out and start my business again. So I've done that 4 times. And I was permanently cured in 2001 and haven't looked back or gone back into any kind of JOB since then.
And then that's my ultimate goal is to say goodbye to JOB, because a lot of the stuff I've learned, like when I started, I have no, like prior to starting my podcast in 2020, because I was furloughed from work because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in media. I didn't do any of this. But since then, I've learned how to edit podcasts. I've learned how to create intros, outros, designs for my background, all these different skills that now I can profit off of, because I can, yes, I'm not monetized with my podcast, but now I have certain skills that people are willing to pay good money for because they don't want to do it.
Exactly, exactly. Well, and a lot of times entrepreneurship comes out of opportunity or necessity, where
No,
you're
I'm 48 years old, so I'm almost there to that, and so
well, hopefully by the time you get to this point, it won't be as annoying and frustrating as it is right now. Because, if you're 55 plus and you want to go and get a loan or insurance for your business or funding or anything like that, good luck. Like you can't. And good luck if you're 60 plus or whatever and trying to get a job back in corporate or anything. Ageism is alive and well, as much as people don't say it is. I've got a really good friend and client who's been trying to get employment for almost 9 months now. She's sent out over 200 resumes, highly qualified, perfect resume for positions, gone on 19 interviews so far because she's been perfect for the position. They call her in, they find out how old she is, and she doesn't get a call back. So it's really challenging to get a job in any kind of professional capacity if you're older. So they have to become entrepreneurs, but there's very few resources for them to make that transition from employee to entrepreneur. So my hope is that by the time you get to this age, ageism isn't nearly as daunting and annoying as it is right now, and that it's feasible for you to be an entrepreneur for as long as you want. Because the reality is, it used to be we retired at 65 and we died at 75. And so people just, did whatever they did for the last 10 years of their life. But now people are literally living for 20, 30, 40 more years. There's more 100-year-olds on the planet right now than have existed throughout all of time. And that's getting more and more to be the case. Like in 2050, 1 in 4 of us will be over 55. So 25% of the population, and they need to work. A lot of people don't realize that in America, 50 to 90% of the people cannot afford to retire, depending on where it is in the country and what the demographic band is. It's 65% in Canada. And that's a lot of people who have to make a choice between mortgage or meds, between, and some of them might just be that they can't go on vacation. Others, it's, food and housing insecurity. So they have to make money. And like I said, no one's serving them except me and a few other people, but not many, who are really, I'm trying to create a platform, a world where these people can be found, can come together, can be in community. Because there's a lot of them, but they're just not, there's no community for them anywhere, or events. There's lots of events on retiring, lots of events on aging, but no events on refiring. So that's what I'm creating.
Okay, so is one is why the next question be like, what is it that you would need to get that going? Like what is the
uh, patience, which is not my strong suit, but also funding. I'm in that catch-22 that a lot of people are when they're trying to grow from solopreneur to business, right? You need funding to expand, but in order to get the funding, you have to be expanded and have the numbers and so forth. So I have a network that is a membership network that people can join for just like under $50 a month, to create community and get education and speakers and coaching and accountability and a ton of support. So I need members for that, for a proof of concept, so I can then go and get funding, so that I can then afford to advertise and so forth for our event. We're doing a conference in next May, that's both live and virtual in Canada, called the Maturepreneur Conference. So really what I need is believers, funders, angel investors, members, supporters, people who will do what you've kindly done and put me on their platform, and people who are just really in some way, shape, or form committed to making sure that we make this change, so that the millions and millions of people affected can continue to contribute, because the other part of this is there's so much wealth of wisdom and innovation and experience and expertise that this demographic has, that just we can't afford to waste it. We can't afford to let it go. So, yeah, we need to harness that brilliance and bring it to the market and bring it to bear on a lot of the big problems that we have. So that's, so what do I need? I need money. I need people. I need help. I need probably more wine than I should be having, because this whole growing a business, growing a movement really is what I'm doing, as opposed to a business. It's both a business and a movement. There's a lot to it. As you know, there's a lot to running any kind of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's a lot of work, and I commend you on what you're doing.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm super inspired, more than I have been for a long time. And that's part of the good thing too, is when people have purpose, especially as you get older, it adds 7 qualitative years to your life. And when people don't have some sense of purpose or something that they're excited about or passionate about, man, it can be hard to get up in the morning and go do what you do. That's where the grind happens, right? And so part of what I've always been really, what I coach on and teach on as well, is finding your why. Why do you do what you do? What's your purpose? And how does that weave through your life? And how do you monetize that? How do you monetize your mission so that you can, profit not only yourself, but other people by sharing that gift, that talent, that skill, that passion. So that's part of it, as well as is supporting people in finding that sense of meaning, and the contribution that they can be, because that's what keeps us young, excited, vital.
Listen, like I said, for me, I started podcasting 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I say that's when I found my purpose at the age of 44, finding out that podcasting and creating this content and creating this platform to share, have people come share their stories and hopefully inspire a movement, or hopefully inspire one person, 2 people, whatever it is. And it's amazing for me to be able to receive some of the messages that I've received, where people might have saw an episode, and I had a particular friend, she sent me a message. She saw me and another friend of ours. We went to high school together, and we had me and him had a great episode. We talked about manifestation, goal setting, all these different things. And she saw us talking about it, and she was on the fence about starting her own business. And she was like, I saw 2 guys I grew up with talking about business and growing your own business and doing this and doing that, this growth mindset and development, and it inspired me to take that leap and start the business. And it was like, because I know you guys, and I'm like, I know them. Why can't I do this? I know who they are. Why am I not capable of doing it? So when I receive messages like that, I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
yes, this is why I love to do what I do.
Exactly.
Is to have someone tell me that content that I've created has inspired them to do something better for their lives.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all long to matter, really, and to make a difference. And that's why it is so gratifying when people say, yeah, you really helped me shift this or do that. And you give a platform to a lot of people to be heard. And that's another major human longing, right? We want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to know that we matter. And so I commend you on the work that you do, because I think it's so important and so valuable to really give people a voice and to give them a space to be seen and heard.
And it started with the podcast. It's led me to starting an internet radio station. Me and my nephew, we've published a book for him. We've published his book. All these different things from just me starting the podcast,
Mhm.
and me just taking that leap of faith and just like, all right, this is what I want. Let's do this. I'm gonna invest time. Then, well, I'm gonna invest in purchasing the equipment that I need,
Yeah.
quality camera, quality microphone, programs that I need to help do this and set this up. It was like I was getting extra money because I was being furloughed. First of all, I was furloughed, and like I said, the pandemic and getting
Yeah.
paid. And instead of just spending that money on Amazon and stupid stuff, I invested in myself. I took
Yeah.
courses. I
Exactly.
purchased equipment. It was because I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna invest in myself. I want people to see that I'm serious about what I'm doing. I want when they hear me, I want it to be quality sound. When they see me, I want it to be a good picture
Hmm.
because people are giving me something very precious, which is their time.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And it's, I like the entrepreneurial leap you made. So how did you decide to do that? Because you were employed, and how did you make that leap in your head of what was the question you asked yourself that allowed you to make that leap?
It was my wife.
Yeah.
My wife, she was like, I see you're very passionate about this.
Mm-hmm.
I see you're doing because I prior to that I would spend more time gaming than anything else.
Yeah.
And when I started doing the content creation and doing podcasting, the wife noticed that my gaming had stopped.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she was like, all right, I see you're passionate about this. And I see you want, what can we do to make this a business? What can we do to, so she helped me start my LLC, and we got everything, started working on everything, and that's how it started. It was like her saying, okay, you're pretty good at this. Now how do we make this profitable? What can we do to make money off of this, and what do you need to do? And so it was a lot her vision as much as it was mine.
Yep, that's often the case with a lot of entrepreneurs is someone says, follow your passion.
Yeah, and that's what it's been. It's been, she's like, okay, and so she sees that I'm dedicated, that I'm dedicated to do what I'm doing, and so she supports me. And as long as I continue to do it, and honestly, it's just been an amazing journey
Yeah,
to
that's all.
really because I've networked and connected with so many different people. And so being able to build these relationships with so many different people and network and just building these relationships with people, it's been like prior to doing this, I don't know how would I've, especially now, especially with the pandemic and how everything exploded virtually,
Mm,
to now building all these connections and these relationships with people. It's been like, okay, this has been amazing.
yeah,
I don't
yes,
know, prior to that, I don't know how I would have been able to connect with so many people, and then this interview would have been happening, and
yeah,
so many different things. But
exactly. Well,
it,
I think the pandemic was, yes, a challenge and a real problem, but also there was so many blessings. So it both polarized us and made us detached, and lots of distance between us, and lots of us versus them. But there was also, it really created the first true global connection and global kind of economy. Because now, if you're a coach in Canada, you can coach people anywhere in the world. I
yeah,
mean, you could before, but it wasn't as common and it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Now everybody's connected to everybody, which, I think is such a big blessing because there's opportunities like the ones you found to
Mhm.
connect with people you would never have.
Yeah.
It's breaking down a lot of, barriers as well as putting up some. So I think it was a big blessing in many, many ways.
So what do you think is common misconception about starting a business at 55? Like, what are the things stopping people at 55 from starting a business?
Well, I think the common misconception in a lot of other people's minds is, oh, you're 55, you're 65, aren't you going to retire? And there's just this assumption that people are going to. That's kind of a bit of a challenge to overcome. And even within our own minds, there is that kind of sneaky ageism that says, oh, I'm done now. And literally, that is so not the reality for most people nowadays. So we really have to get the ageism, unearth the ageism in our own brains, and then also notice, because it's very subtle in some cases in society, kind of start unearthing that. I think the barriers to ageism or barriers to entrepreneurialism for people who are 55 plus are similar to the ones for almost everybody else. There's the leap that needs to be made to go from what people consider to be quote unquote safe, although I don't know who still has the illusion that having a job is safe or secure. But there is more of a sense of that to what they consider to be far more risky, which is entrepreneurialism. The reality is the risk is you. Are you going to do the work? If you are, great. You can end up learning how to be a business person, and you can be successful. If you don't do the work, then you're not going to be the same as if you were in a job. So I think one of the barriers is that people think um, there's also barriers in our mind and in society about, well, who's going to hire me? I'm 55, I'm 65, I'm 70. Why would they want to work with me? There's so many benefits to working with people who have expertise and experience, even hiring them. Hiring older workers helps with morale because they're generally happier. One of the things that's kind of ironic is we're the very happiest when we're very young and when we're old. In between, when we're 30 to 50, we are the most stressed out that we in our life, right? So hiring older people improves morale because they're happier, and so everybody around them becomes happier. Um, but I think one of the big challenges is, as it is for many entrepreneurs, is who would hire me? So why would they pick me to work with? Why did they need what I have? And why do I want to do this? So identifying I call it the 3 whys and a what. And really your why, your purpose is one of the big ones. And I don't think a lot of people, when you reach, kind of this point in life, we go through several cycles in our life when we try and define or figure out why am I here? What is my purpose? Most teenagers go through that period when, the teenage angst of what's the meaning of life? Why am I here? What am I going to do in the future? And then again, maybe a little later in life in our 40s, that quote unquote midlife crisis, which is not midlife anymore. And then again when we're older and you're not who you were, you're not your roles, you're not the parent because your kids are gone, you're not the manager or CEO of the company because you're retired. Who are you if you're not those roles? So redefining that and deciding that I'm still have lots to contribute, I'm not done. I think overcoming that barrier and then deciding what do I want to create, that's one of the bigger challenges. Redefining who I am now, that I'm not all those things I've been most of my life. And then there's the challenge of figuring out how to do it when there's so many barriers like funding and so forth, getting insurance, all of that. But I think one of the big benefits of it is that we also don't sweat the same things. So we just kind of do it. We don't make it about a whole bunch of noise and hoo-ha. We just kind of like pitter patter, let's get at her. There's more urgency for us because we may only have, like for me, building the Maturepreneur world, I'm like, I've only got like 15, maybe 20 years left. I got to hurry. I'm 64 before I want to actually slow down. So there's more of a sense of urgency. If you're younger, there's less of that sense of I got to get at it. I was literally just talking wise to a person, a lady here in Calgary who is 86. She just won an award for top 8 over 80. And her app, her company, a tech company, won an award for the best app in Canada. And she runs a data center that she started when she was 82. That was her second technology company she started. She sold her first one for millions of dollars. She's the kind of person that is the new face of business. I often joke that the face of business is changing. It's getting a lot more wrinkled, and that's a good thing.
Yes. So, what are some of the common pitfalls entrepreneurs should avoid when launching a business?
I think, ironically, don't make it about your age and make it about your age. So what I mean by that is other people's judgments and isms and prejudices are theirs unless we take them on. So I don't care if it's color or age or gender or whatever it may be, or nationality. There may be systemic issues that get in the way, but it doesn't become our problem unless we make it our problem, unless we decide that, yes, that is the barrier. If we just say, screw that, I'm going anyways, then we break through those barriers more so. So one is, don't make it about age. You have value to offer at every age and stage of life. When you're young, you've got inspiration and a blank slate. When you're older, you've got expertise and experience. Neither is the perfect thing. They both have value in their time and place. The second thing is, make it about age. Make it about the value that you bring based on all of that wisdom and expertise. Now, mind you, not every old person is wise. Let's get real. And not every, young person is not wise. It's not a function of age. It's a function of how much we've learned from the life we've gone through. So I think that we have a lot to offer. And so make it about that. Make it about the amount of expertise you have. Make it about the fact that you are able to help them save a whole lot of time, energy, and money, because you know what works and what doesn't work. And I think one of the challenges, the judgments that we were talking about earlier, is that people think we're stuck in the past. Oh, they don't have tech skills. Oh, they're, antiquated, out of date. Not true. I've got a 74-year-old friend who can run circles around anybody when it comes to video editing and video content creation, and is constantly learning new tech. So I think we need to get rid of some of those old notions, and for older people, we need to not be the kind of people who say, well, in my day, because it's not my day anymore. It's this day. So how do we bring ourselves current, and how do we make sure that we are not living in the past, but we're learning from the past? Ooh, that's a good one. Write that one down. Make
That is a good one. That really is a good one.
the past, learn from the past. Okay.
But that's something I've picked up was I've learned so much more at an older age. Like these skills, I'm like, okay, and I'm still constantly learning. I'm always finding new tech, new gear, or new programs that make life simpler for me here as far as producing my show goes. I use some certain AI tools that I've learned about automation, sending out weekly emails. These are things that I've learned recently in the last 4 years that I had no clue about. But it took me doing the research, connecting with people, learning from people, and just okay, and people want to really do help you, and if they see that you're willing to be helped, they for the most part will help you.
Yeah.
And so I've been blessed in that regards where people have been like, all right, I see you how dedicated you are and what you're doing, and I would like to offer you this program. Try this program out. This beta program for me teaches you how to do this, and I was like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
cool,
Oh, I
awesome.
think that's so true. People, I traveled through Central and South America for 7 months by myself, and people would always come up to me and say, "Oh, aren't you scared? It's not safe, and you're going to be mugged and attacked and so forth." And I would always say the same thing. I'm not scared because I believe people are good by and large. Most people are good. I don't do stupid things like walk down dark alleys at night, but I don't do things like that in my own city. Never mind in South America. Um, but I think people are good, and I believe you get what you expect. So if you're a good person and you expect people to be good, then they're good, and you attract more of that in your life. If I There was a woman that I met who said, "Oh, no, everybody's out to get you. They're going to take from you. They're going to mug you. It's not safe." And da da da. I've been traveling, and she had this big victim neon sign over her head, and 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 so I said, "Oh no, I think people are really good, and that we kind of get what we expect." "Oh no, people are out to get you. I've been mugged 7 times in 6 weeks. We should travel together. It'll be safer." And I'm like, "No way, lady."
Dude, I'm not trying to get mugged with you, no.
Exactly. No, you expect that, you attract that, you
No,
go
no.
over there. So yeah, no. I
Yeah,
think people are good and they want to help you. And especially one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs don't do well is ask for support. And especially women, they tend to believe that they have to be the ones to give and they can't ask. And we need to get over that. No one has built anything of any significance in the world on their own. We need help.
yeah. It's even with what I'm doing, I've got the support of my wife. I have the support of my nephew, um, and then there's people that if I have a question or if I'm struggling with something
Hmm.
that I don't mind contacting, give them a call, find. But that comes from me earning that opportunity and that respect from them, where they're like, okay, I see that you're serious about this. Here's my number or my contact information. Hit me up. Let me know whenever you have a situation and if I can help you solve it.
Hmm. Yeah.
And like I said, you'll be amazed at how many people are willing to do this when they see you genuine, when you're honestly a good person, and people realize this when you're doing this, when they see you doing something just for the good of it, not because you're trying to be selfish, or
Yeah.
people genuinely see this. They see it and they're like, okay, I see what you're doing. Here you go. Let me help you. Let me and I've been blessed with many new amazing friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and when you put good out in the world, it comes back, and people want to. And then also, if you have a vision, a bigger purpose, I just finished reading or listening to Vivid Vision by an author whose name I can't remember right now. But really, he talks about creating that compelling vision that 3 years from now, who do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? What is the reality 3 years from now? And I think that's something that every entrepreneur, but especially maturepreneurs, really need to figure out is what is the vision I want to be living into? What do I want to be the case? Not, someday when, but like 3 years from now, here's what exists. And then you reverse engineer it and figure out, what do I need to do today or next week or this year to get there, to bridge that gap. And I was talking to Michael Gerber, the man who wrote the E-Myth many years ago, one of the best, if not the best, book on entrepreneurship. Um, and he's 88 and was talking to me about his 10-year plan, his next 10-year plan for his business. He's got 27 books out, and he's on his way to 99 of the variations on the E-Myth theme. So I love when people have a vision that pulls them forward. I think that's what every person needs, but especially every entrepreneur needs a very clear vision of who do they want to be, what do they want to do, what do they want to have at that point in the future. And 3 years is good because it's not so far out that it's hard to imagine, and it's so close that you can't get it, those big dreams done in that time. So that's I think that when we have a clear vision and it's compelling and gets us out of bed in the morning when we share it, then it's going to resonate with other people. That's the why you do what you do. And that's what people buy. They don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. That's my friend of the mine, Simon Sinek, said that. I didn't say that.
But this has been wonderful. I've had a wonderful time speaking with you and having you on the show. Now is the time where you get the solo screen.
Okay.
And you get to plug away and let people know where they can find you, websites, podcasts, everything.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's been a delight. As you can tell, I love talking about this and love getting on my soapbox about it. So if you are someone who is 55 plus and hashtag not done by a long shot, then there's lots of things that I can support you with. One is coaching. So reach out to me, DM me, join the Maturepreneur world in Facebook, in the Facebook community, so you can get some inspiration, connect with other people, and go to maturepreneur.world. That's the website that has the network. If you're looking for a community that will really support you in making the leap or in keeping going. So if you've been in business a while and you're frankly just tired, I get it, been there at this 40 years, then let's connect and let's keep you going. So let's get you going or keep you going, because you, my friends, are the only ones who can be the difference that only you can be in the world. So go to Maturepreneur, so mature as in older, preneur, so the last half of that word, PRENEUR.world, not .com, .world. And reach out. If you're interested in being on my podcast, reach out. Let's talk. Let's connect. If you are someone who is ready to figure out what's next, let's talk. I want to get you going.
Awesome. I really appreciate you being on the show. So everybody out there, 55 plus, if you're looking to start a business, definitely reach out and check out her website and check out the podcast as well.
And I was going to say, and I will provide you with the link that you can put in the show notes where people can book a what's next call with me, where you get an idea of what to do next.
Awesome. Yes. So I can definitely do that.
Because sometimes you just don't know where to get started. So happy to do that.
So people look, I'm going to update it as soon as I get that link. As soon as she sends me the link, I will update the show notes and the descriptions, and I will place it there. So people definitely go back and click on it and check out her content and check. Listen, if this is an important part of life, man. We're getting to a point where you're replaceable at your job. Yeah. We're getting to ages where they're like, oh, time to get younger.
Yeah.
And a lot of us aren't ready to stop working, and it's not like, it's a lot of us is. I've become to realize that you're meant, the more you stay active, that means either finding something you love to do or staying at a job, it kind of gives you purpose. So being able to find something later on in life, finding a purpose with your business and opportunities, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll keep you young. It'll keep you happier. It'll make you a nicer person to be around.
Yeah. I know some some people at work who are older and just not so happy.
Yeah,
But
they're not happy.
yes, but don't leave just yet. We can chat a little bit after off the air. But thank you once again for being such a great guest.
And thank you so much for having me. And y'all share this episode, please. And thank you so much, Wise, for giving people a place to be seen and heard. It's a huge gift in the world.
Oh, I at one point there was I felt kind of how was it I thought I was being selfish because I was enjoying these conversations so much.
Yeah.
And a guest reminded me like no, that's self-love first of all, because you're wanting to learn and because you're willing to, and because plus first of all you're sharing it with other people, so
Yeah.
there's nothing selfish about it, and there's nothing with wanting to learn and improve even as you get older.
Exactly. And I actually think the path to our purpose is through pleasure. Whatever brings us pleasure and joy is when we're on the right path to what we're supposed to be doing in our lives.
All right, so thank you, and let me close out the show, and like I said, we'll chat a little bit off the air.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, there we go. All right, everybody, another great show. I love shows like this. It energizes me to be able to speak with someone who's with so much knowledge, and like she said, she's starting a movement. It's amazing that we still have some people out there that want to start these movements, because let's get it. Us boomers and Gen Xers, there's a lot of us still alive, and a lot of us we plan on being around much longer. So let's get it together. Me being a Gen Xer personally, and I'm excited for what my future holds. I'm just the stuff that I've been able to do the last couple of years, even at my age. But even now, people start at my age. People think I'm old. I'm just in the prime of my career, and I'm excited to be able to share this with so many people on this platform and whatever other platforms that I decide to create further on down the line. So peace out to my Real Wise fam. Shout out to them, Poppy J, Brandy J. Shout out to the boss lady. Love you. And as always, big shout out to the audience members out there who's tuned in and sometimes chimed in and left some great comments and questions. It's been an amazing 4 years, and I'm looking forward to 4 more or many more. So everybody have a great day, great night. You know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.